Welcome to Freed on Business. He grew up in South Florida, has been in business here since the early 90s, and has closed over $3 billion in deals. He's seen it all. He always has an opinion, and he's always ready to share it. Informed, entertaining, and connected, he has his finger on the pulse of South Florida's business community. He's Jim Freed, and this is Freed on Business.
All right, everybody, welcome to today's show. We've got a tremendous show for you today. We've got Mark G. Levy. He's the president of BBX Capital and Real Estate and their logistics firm. And we've got Sam Grossman from Invendium, and Sam is back to talk about a real live case study of his online marketing that he does in the Web 3.0 universe. And of course, we're always going to start out with our sponsors, Warren Henry. So, Mr. Mendoza, rock the house. Hi, everybody. When you're looking to buy or lease a car, you want to get every advantage that you can. That's why you have to check out Warren Henry, Land Rover, Range Rover, Infiniti, and Jaguar, and now Lincoln up at 151st and Biscayne. Up in Gainesville, they sell Audis. Down in the Keys, they've got all their great nameplates. And what do they all have in common? Well, they're all great cars, and they all come with the Warren Henry advantage. What's that? It's a whole great list of services that you get when you buy or lease your car from Warren Henry. It includes, of course, a service loaner for free if you have to leave your car for service. Of course, they'll polish up your rims if you scrape them up all the time like I do. Big user of that service. If you lose your keys, they're like $100 a pop, those fancy keys. Lost those a couple times. They'll replace them for free. Of course, they'll guarantee that you're getting the best price on your trade-in. They'll guarantee you're getting the best price on your new car. If you don't like that car, they'll give you 72 hours to return it. But nobody ever does that. They all love their cars. So join me, a beautiful wife, Vivian, a mom, lots and lots more all the time. Lots and lots of my friends. We're all members of the Warren Henry family. You should be too. Always the best price, always the best service. Always Warren Henry.
Carlson from Carlson Integrated. You know, a lot of our clients find that they can do anything, but not really everything. We are always excited to jump in and help. So whether you need another set of hands for a project or even comprehensive marketing management, our team of marketing mavens would love to have a conversation with you to see if we are the right fit. We do everything from logo and design work to email outreach and social media to writing and thought leadership. And here's a fun one. We are now offering our fabulous ebook of top 10 marketing tips on our website for free. So head over to carlsonintegrated.com and grab a copy today. And please always let us know how we can help. My email is Becca, that's BEKAH at carlsonintegrated.com. That's BEKAH at carlsonintegrated.com.
Always has such great positive energy. She's tremendous. She helps me, my friends, and lots of my clients. Actually, we're working with a client from overseas now with Rebecca, who's helping them put together their OM. So, Rebecca, high five to you. And also, of course, a high five to my clients from around the world and across the U.S. that I do business with, from New Zealand to Australia to Latin America to Broward, Palm Beach, and Dade County. I've got them all everywhere. Families, real estate operating companies, wonderful investors. I work with them all. What do I help them do? Well, I help them address their real estate challenges. I do that by bringing my unique set of contacts and my perspective to help them make deals every day. And I'd love to do the same for you. Remember, I solve people's problems, and my personal brand is that I self-actualize by helping other people achieve their dreams and goals. So reach out to me, and remember, whenever you call me, it's always all about you.
Welcome back to Freed on Business. Connect with us on LinkedIn, YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter at Jim Freed or at Freed on Business, and on Instagram at Jim Freed 1. Now, back to your host, Jim Freed.
All right, we're on with our good friend, Sam Grossman. Sam's the managing director at Invenium. He's also the president of Fairchild Acquisitions, and that really factors into today's show. Where's Sam? There he is. Hey, Big Sam, how's it going?
Ta-da.
Hey, it's tremendous.
It's going great.
I had made a faux pas in the beginning of the intro. We're going to talk about real estate, online syndication. I'm fairly sophisticated in all this stuff. You wanted to talk about tokenization. So why don't we start with what the difference is?
You know, the tokenization is a digital form of syndication, right? So syndication, you have your PDFs, your operating agreement, subscription agreement. You got to sign through DocuSign, and you're storing the files on your desktop or your OneDrive or whatever it is. Tokenization is a digital version of that. So it basically is a smart contract which incorporates the PPM, the operating agreement, subscription agreement, but you hold it in your wallet. And so in that wallet, the positive side is that if you ever got hacked, you could shut it off and reprint that token. That's first. Second, everything's anchored to the blockchain. So as you know, Jim, that gives you audit trail, as well as stores all of your information securely.
So Sam,
did I explain that, or did I? No, I don't think I did. Was that good, Jim?
No, you sure did. I got it.
Okay,
I think
good.
you really did a great job explaining it. I kind of made the faux pas, which will give you the layup on explaining it. So I kind of advertised and talked to the people and teased this show that we'd give them a real life example of how Fairchild is doing this exact thing within the context of the blockchain, working with Invenium and I guess it's a crew, if I recall correctly.
That's right. Accrue, akru.co, accrue.co. Happy, we've been talking about, well, as you know, I've been on the road for 18 months, talking to anyone who'd listen to me about Invenium and how better data leads to better value, allows you to make the decisions. We call it Invenium it. Now, once you have all of that documentation and data verified and anchored to the blockchain, you really have a data coin or data token. Now, when you move to tokenization, we did yesterday, happy to announce through Accrue, yesterday at 5:30 Eastern, we took 2 assets live and tokenized them. So what does that mean? Well, we're doing a recap, a Reg D offering that investors, completely decentralized platform, any investor with $1,000 can buy a token and own a piece of real estate in a great MSA like Chicago.
Now, you mentioned something and you kind of buzzed by it, but I think it's perhaps the most important part of what you, Invenium, and Accrue provide on this particular transaction. You said it's a Reg D. So this is a security token. It's collateralized by a real asset, and the documentation exists online. And then you did this when you said token, but there really isn't like a physical coin that goes along with this, or is there?
No, it's not physical, it's digital. So for example, if you still carry a wallet in your back pocket, which I would tell you at least hold it as a money clip in your front pocket, because who knows these days, Jim. But that's a physical wallet, right? So it goes in the back pocket, you pull it out, you open it up, you have your credit cards, you have some cash. A digital wallet looks the same way, only instead of having cards, you have tokens. Those tokens can represent an ownership interest in real estate, an ownership interest in art, an ownership interest in pretty much any asset with underlying documentation and data can be tokenized. So this example,
go ahead.
Yesterday, again, failed acquisition with the help of Mosin Masood and a crew, and Invent tokenized, went live, Reg D offering 2 assets, 6 unit and 7 unit. We're raising 1.2 million, selling 1,200 tokens, I believe that is, at $1,000 each.
Now I'm using my,
and you too, Jim, can buy one if you'd like.
And so I'm using my Invenium notepad to make my notes. And
it's a great notepad.
It is. I've got a whole bunch of them. I stole them off the Invenium table at an event, but don't tell the marketing folks at Invenium. Oh, and I had coffee yesterday with Marshawn. I love that guy. So now here's
smartest guy I've ever met.
He is the smartest guy I've ever met too. But he's I love that being on this stuff. Genius. But anyway, that's a different show. So now I've run into many very smart people that have wallets that they hold their Bitcoin and Ethereum and 50,000 other different coins in, and they've lost the key to their wallet. So they basically can't touch the stuff. Is there a solution that you guys can provide that helps somebody that perhaps is, I'll just say, a little bit absent-minded or a little bit doesn't keep track of their records too well?
Well, first of all, I'm glad you brought that up because, like you all do, this is not cryptocurrency, but the wallet is similar in many fashions. So, old school wallets, the original wallets, you actually needed a physical token which had a code that would get you into your wallet, and if you lost that, you were in big trouble. There's the famous story where the guy had 72 Bitcoins in his store, and it got thrown out and it's in a landfill somewhere, and he hired a holder to dig it up. Those are the old days. The new days are, there's numerous ways to access your own wallet. Most of them have, Google has a dual verification app that you can use. There's about 24 apps out there that will literally give you a secure token or secure number or a password that will allow you to log into your wallet at any given time.
Sounds like another show we should be doing. But you did say something. We only have a couple of minutes in this segment, so I want you to be brief. This isn't crypto. A lot of people talk like this is crypto, but I always say that unlike people's historic perspective of crypto, which is it depends on what the next guy will buy it from you for. That's how you get the value. And if there's no buyer, there's no value. Look at FTX, blah, blah, blah. But this isn't crypto because there is something physical behind this that has value that the Securities and Exchange Commission makes sure is there and make sure that there's a process here that people can depend on.
I mean, you just dropped a bomb and you want me to answer this in 30 seconds. So I'll be quick.
We're going to go for a break and then we're going to come back and you'll answer it. Is that okay?
Yes. Let's keep the viewers on suspense. Come on, please.
You're tremendous. Okay, Mr. Mendoza, it's all yours. I love Sam. He's so tremendous. He's got the best sense of humor and he's just the most wonderful interview and he's got great content. I want to thank our friends at Warren Henry. I want to give them a high five and adding the Lincoln nameplate to their brand collection. You can get that up at 151st and Biscayne. And remember, when you're looking to buy or lease a car, you want to get every advantage that you can. That's why you have to check out Warren Henry. Land Rover, Range Rover, Infiniti, Jaguar, and Lincoln. They're all up at that 151st Street store. What a great place that is, filled with all kinds of wonderful people. My family, Larry, Eric, Ismet, Maytal. I love those people up there. And when you're looking to buy or lease a car, you want to get every advantage that you can. That's why you have to check out Warren Henry. Land Rover, Range Rover, Infiniti, and Jaguar. I said that already. Lincoln too. All great cars. They all come with the Warren Henry advantage. That's all along. Sam is just sending me these texts and distracting me. It's his specialty. He's so tremendous. They're all great cars, and they all come with the Warren Henry advantage. Well, what's that, you say? Well, I say it all the time. You know, I use it all the time because I scratch up my rims because I park close so nobody sideswipes me while I'm parked. Well, they polish up my rims on a regular basis for me. I've lost my keys. Those keys are cost a fortune. We all know from the supply chain issues that they're expensive. They're hard to replace. They'll pay for that replacement. That's part of the Warren Henry advantage. Of course, another part of the Warren Henry advantage is that they'll guarantee that you're getting the best price for your trade-in, the best price for your new car, the best price on your new car. I said that already. I'm getting all these texts and it's driving me nuts. Oh boy. The best price on your new car, the best price on your used car. But you also guarantee that you'll get the, that you can return your car within 3 days. So you should join me, my mom, my beautiful wife, Vivian, lots and lots of my friends. We're all members of the Warren Henry family. You should be too. Always the best price, always the best service, always Warren Henry.
Can AI supercharge your real estate analysts? With Deep Blocks, you can now canvas entire cities in minutes. Search by total buildable, potential units, and uses allowed. Now live in 100 cities. Book a private demo and supercharge your real estate analysts. deepblocks.com/demo.
Oh, you caught me. Hey, I'm Jim Freed. Had wrist surgery. Thank you to Dr. Owens at UHealth. I love him. He's the best. Had wrist surgery a couple days ago. And I'm talking to all my clients from across the world about new trends in real estate. Just signed up one client from New Zealand for his, I think it's my third deal with him now. I'm closing a lot of business, mostly construction loans right now. Some CPAs all across the country, Texas, Chicago, here in South Florida. And it all has something in common. I work with high net worth investors, family offices, real estate operating companies. Had one of the real estate operating companies call me. Haven't talked to them in 10 years. Had them on in 2013, actually. So it's 8 years. And what do I do for them? I help them solve problems. Some people ask me, can I help them pop into the market for direct to, person-to-person deals without going through the big marketplace or being one of 1,000 people to see a deal? And I say, of course. And I show them the deal. And we do it. All this stuff has something in common. What it is I'm helping people identify and then solve their problems. I listen and I help them solve their problems. And what does that mean? Well, it means I'm executing on my personal brand, which is that I self-actualize by helping other people achieve their dreams and goals. But also, I'm also implementing one of my total tenets of business. And what that is that when you call me, it's always all about you.
Welcome back to Freed on Business. Connect with us on LinkedIn, YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter at Jim Freed or at Freed on Business, and on Instagram at Jim Freed1. Now, back to your host, Jim Freed.
We're here with our good friend, and at this point, I got to say, regular guest, Sam Grossman. Sam, I love you, man. Bring Sam back on. Sam is the managing director at Invendium, where he goes around and pitches their blockchain technology, assist, and the package of relationships he has. They do tokenization of real estate. He's also the president of Fairchild Acquisitions, and as a principal, he's put a couple of his properties out there for tokenization with a crew. And so, welcome back, Sam. We left it hanging, so please pick up where we left off.
Absolutely. It's the question in everyone's mind. Everyone hears blockchain and they think Bitcoin. Everyone hears Bitcoin and crypto, and everyone hears crypto and it's FTX, and oh my God. And, it's the hot topic that we're talking about right now. I'll address the first and then get to the latter, but the first is that it's not crypto. It's a wallet. You deposit USD dollars actually into the wallet. You use those dollars to purchase the token. The dollars are transferred to the issuer, in this case, the sponsor, which would be Fairchild Acquisition, and it's all cash. This is money in, money out. Just like dollars. That's right. It's not crypto. You cannot buy security tokens backed by real estate with crypto. It is a faux pas. You cannot do it. The SEC don't like you if you do that. So
Sam, so you're putting online through a crew, and you're selling these tokens. They're $1,000 a pop, and when the token sells, it's really a representation online with a smart contract, and the money that's raised goes into Fairchild that is using it to recapitalize a deal, and the token represents the person's fractional interest in that deal, and it gives the person that has that fractionalized interest the opportunity to have a liquidity event when they choose, rather than before when somebody would buy an LP interest or, like this, they had no liquidity whatsoever. Is that sort of what's going on here?
You nailed it on that. Who says Jim doesn't know everything? Yes.
My wife.
Option. Your beautiful wife, who's also part of the Warren.
My beautiful wife,
family.
Vivian.
Yes. One of the biggest values, Jim, you love that picture. One of the biggest values of tokenization, and she loves you, Jim. One of the biggest advantages to tokenization, is A, the pain points that are taken away. It's a more efficient way to invest, to communicate, to access data, be transparent with your investors so that your investors can see what they want, when they want, how they want it, as far as the asset level data goes. That's what Invendium does for you. Now you have a crew, issues the token, does the KYC, AML, you transfer the money into it once you're approved. KYC, know your client. AML, anti-money laundering. This is how we verify who the buyer or investor is.
Accredited investors.
Now comes the accredited investors with Reg D. You can, on the secondary market, after a year, you can sell to a retail investor. After 90 days, you can sell to another accredited investor. So that right there, that is the liquidity optionality. Again, you don't have to sell. You have the option to sell. So 90 days surpass, you put that $1,000 token, you click a button on a crew's website, you put it back up to the market. Somebody can buy it for the value, because every quarter you're getting a new third-party valuation appraisal that values the asset. When you have the value of the asset, you have the value of the cap stack. When you have the value of the cap stack, you have the value of all the outstanding tokens, thus your token in particular. So that is the key, right? So crypto has no data, has no asset-backed data, right? This is a real physical, touch, feel piece of real estate, and that is the value of the token.
So let me ask you this. Does the token go up in value because the income changed? Does the token go up in value because of supply and demand? Back to you, Sam.
Well, the token goes up as the asset goes up in value, right? So appreciation of the real estate itself, the income going up, the expenses going down, the NOI change. It's not just about the token going up in value. It is possible, like anything else, any other investment, any other security, that this price could go down. But the difference is that that price up or down is based on a third-party valuation of real, credentialed, and verified data on a monthly basis. That's it.
So I don't have to worry about somebody. I've got to say this. I really apologize, Sam. So it doesn't matter if the person has wavy, crazy hair and a dirty, frumpy look. That doesn't play into it. It's just really asset-based.
Let's call it what it is. Everyone wants to talk about FTX, right? When Lehman Brothers and Bear Stearns went down, what came out? Great regulation, changes the marketplace, efficiency to the marketplace. So am I going to stand here and I'm going to say I'm upset about what the curly hair guy did? Of course I am. Shame on the so-called smartest people in the world that didn't do their due diligence. Jim. I'll tell you what FTX really did. Forget the regulations that's going to come from this, because we need that to happen. But what about the proof that what Invenium's doing to real estate, what Invenium's doing to private market assets, the transparency on a monthly, daily basis that we're providing to investors, real data, real documentation, all anchored to the blockchain. You're telling me if FTX was on Invenium that this would have ever happened? No. Why? Because any investor at any point in time could have went on and seen what was really going on, because they would have realized that there was no accounting. There was no income statement. There was no financials, because there was nothing going on. So I tell you right now, is this proof that the blockchain is real? That the blockchain has real value to not only real estate, but all private market assets? I think the answer is yes, Jim.
Yeah, well, it really creates the critical event that is going to move the marketplace to the next level. And I think that it's going to shake out a bunch of the pretenders, and the information-backed, SEC rated and regulated security token is just beginning to see its day. Now we're going to wrap up, Sam, so I want to make sure you get the last word here on what's going on and where people can get information on this transaction that you're talking about, and use it to either to invest and to learn about what's going on in the security token world.
Yeah, well, first of all, Jim, thanks for having me on. It's always a pleasure to see you and be on this show. Love what you're doing and how you do it. Second, this is the future of the real estate industry. Between Invenium and the crew, Invenium's taken the pain points out of communication, data, documentation, valuation, and allows you to make better decisions. It's transparent. You can see what you want, when you want, how you want as an investor. There's no time like the present. It is so important today more than ever to be transparent, to have verified data, and having it anchored on the blockchain gives you that audit trail. That's Invenium. Accrue is the future market. It's not if, it's not when, it's today. The future is now. We've tokenized 2 assets, went live yesterday. You can go on accrue.co, sign up for an account. That's akru.co. Sign up for an account, go through the KYC AML, and you can purchase a token for $1,000. That's a decentralized marketplace. Anyone can get in as long as you have $1,000. That's the barriers to entry of a passive real estate investment deal. That's usually a minimum of $100,000 to $150,000. You can get it for $1,000. And you can see why. You can see why blockchain and real estate is a marriage that's been waiting to happen for years, Jim. and we should make that shit-off happen. We've made the shit-off happen. I'm told 3. I've already had 2. Can this be my 3rd, Jim? I heard you're blessed for life. If you have 3 shit-off, you're blessed for life. You're blessed for life anyways, Jim. One more point. My father says hello, and that he's wearing pants, not shorts, to watch your show out of respect. That's out.
I really appreciate that, Sam, and I appreciate you giving your dad the shout out because he's a tremendous dude. I loved meeting him at the IMN event the other day. All right, we're gonna say thank you to Sam Grossman. On deck is Mark Levy from BBX, and we're gonna get Mark on right after this. Sam, thank you so much. You never know, you may see Sam again sometime during the show. Mr. Mendoza. Oh, look, Sam's there again. Hey, Sam, what's up?
Hey, Jim. You know, are you looking for a car? Are you looking to buy or sell? Lease a car, because if you are, you have to go see Jim's friends, Warren Henry. Because with the Warren Henry image, you get all sorts of great things. First of all, the best price, the best service. And you can become part of the family, just like Jim's beautiful wife, Vivian, your sister, you.
No, my mom.
Oh, sorry. Almost there. And it gives you great things like a rental car. If you lose your key, they'll replace it for free. And if you park like Jim does and crack up your ass, they'll also help you and replace those. So they have 4 locations. Audi is on the north.
In Gainesville.
Gainesville.
We don't like Tallahassee. Gainesville.
Yeah, no, Gainesville. There's a great place in the Keys, and there's one up on
51st and Biscayne. At 151st and Biscayne, you get all the different brands. Down in the Keys, 151st and Biscayne, you get Land Rover, Range Rover, Infiniti, Jaguar, and now Lincoln. Down in the Keys, you get them all. Up in Gainesville, you get Audi.
Audi
they
only.
all come with that Warren Henry advantage that Sam was talking about.
And you can join the Warren Henry family as well. That's all I got for you, Jim.
You're tremendous, Sam. Get out of here. I'll finish the thing up for you. Mwah. I love you, Sam. Thanks for being on the show today. So remember, always the best price, always the best service, always Warren Henry.
Carlson from Carlson Integrated. You know, a lot of our clients find that they can do anything, but not really everything. We are always excited to jump in and help. So whether you need another set of hands for a project or even comprehensive marketing management, our team of marketing mavens would love to have a conversation with you to see if we are the right fit. We do everything from logo and design work to email outreach and social media to writing and thought leadership. And here's a fun one. We are now offering our fabulous ebook of top 10 marketing tips on our website for free. So head over to carlsonintegrated.com and grab a copy today. And please always let us know how we can help. My email is Becca, that's BEKAH at carlsonintegrated.com. That's BEKAH at carlsonintegrated.com.
All right. I'm back. I'm Jim Freed, president and founder of Sandstone Realty Advisors. I do business all over the country. We're doing C-PACE loans in Chicago and in Texas. We're doing construction loans here in South Florida. I get investors from all over the world that call me to help me solve their real estate problems and issues. And they do that because they know that my personal brand is that I self-actualize by helping other people achieve their dreams and goals. Today's real estate market is evolving and changing. I've seen it all 50 times, it seems like, at this point. I do that so you can see I got a lot of gray hair. That's from doing all the real estate. Give me a call, reach out. Why? Because whenever you call me, it's always all about you.
Welcome back to Freed on Business. Connect with us on LinkedIn, YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter at Jim Freed or at Freed on Business, and on Instagram at Jim Freed1. Now, back to your host, Jim Freed.
All right, we're back with Mark Levy. Mark is the president of BBX Industrial and Logistics. They're also part of the BBX Capital platform. Welcome to the show, Mark. I know we've been trying to put this together for a long time. I'm really glad that it finally got to happen. Hold on. Mr. Mendoza, I'm not hearing any audio.
How's that? Is that better?
Much better. Let's start again. Welcome to the show, Mark.
Thank you. Obviously, you can tell I'm not a techie here, but thank you very much for having me on the show. It's a real honor and a privilege. Appreciate it.
It's our pleasure. I love you and your team. I love my friends at BBX. I know a bunch of the folks there. I know they're all watching today. But before we get started, why don't you tell us a few fun facts about your personal background, which lays the ground for learning more about BBX Capital and BBX Logistics Properties.
Yeah, so look, I'm glad to be back in South Florida. I really started my career in earnest in the South Florida market, in sort of the mid to late '90s. Had the good fortune of being able to develop a tremendous amount of product, which was really concentrated on the I-75 corridor in West Broward, which was a real emerging market at the time. We built close to 8 million square feet of product across all sort of product types: office, retail, industrial, hotel. So really had a great opportunity to sort of seed myself as a part of the South Florida real estate community at that point in time. Then I went away for a number of years, had an opportunity to join a small little firm called Prologis, and moved to the Washington, D.C. metro, where I was for about 15 years. And the plan was always to do the U-turn and come back to South Florida. And we did so in 2020, and had the opportunity to sort of form and join up with the BBX Capital platform and form the BBX Logistics Properties business a little over a year ago. So it's great to be back in South Florida. I feel like the best parts of my career have always sort of been in South Florida. And so I'm glad to be back.
Well, we're glad to have you. It's always great to have people come here and add their expertise and their intellectual capital to the market. Tell me a little bit about BBX Capital and about BBX Logistics Properties.
Well, so BBX is, as you probably know, Jim, is the former Bank Atlantic. Bank Atlantic was a large community bank based in Fort Lauderdale. Then in 2012 was sold to BB&T. BBX then sort of became an entity that worked out of a number of non-performing loans and made investments in a number of other operating businesses over the last, call it 10 plus years. So within sort of the BBX family of companies, we have a group called BBX Sweet Holdings, which owns It's Sugar, which is the large candy retailer. Hoffman's Chocolates, which if you haven't tried candy from Hoffman's Chocolates, you're really missing out on what I consider to be some of the best candy made anywhere in the world, to be honest. And then Las Olas Confections, which is another brand that manufactures under its own private label, as well as a number of other labels. Renin, which is a company based in Brampton, Ontario. They invented back in the 1960s the mirrored closet door, the sliding mirrored closet door. And the company has evolved quite a bit since then, and manufactures all sorts of home improvement products, and that are sold through a number of different retail platforms, whether it's Home Depot, Lowe's, and others. And then we have the most exciting of the three, in my personal opinion, is the real estate platform, which really consists of the Altman Companies, which is a 50-year-old, sort of luxury multifamily development firm. and then the company I lead, which was formed a little over a year ago, BBX Logistics Properties. So there's been lots of other investments that we've made over that period of time that we've exited, but that's sort of the family of companies as it stands today.
So where do you see some of the opportunities in the marketplace today? It sounds like you cover the marketplace in quite a variety of different, sectors.
Yeah, so I'll just sort of speak to the sector that I'm most actively involved in, which is obviously the industrial sector. I think, Florida, there was a comment made by a colleague of mine yesterday that I actually agree with, is that Florida may be one of the most attractive markets in which you can invest anywhere in the world. And the reasoning for that is just sort of the underlying thesis, whether it's population growth, obviously the quality of life, the tax regime, sort of the open governance that has attracted business over a long period of time through political cycles, I think really has made, sort of global headlines. And so capital, I think, is now sort of firmly established Miami as a primary gateway market. And I think that changes the landscape for a lot of folks that are looking to invest in Miami in terms of, what sort of returns they're underwriting to and what sort of appreciation they're expecting over the whole period of a particular investment. So certainly Miami has established that. But in terms of what we do on the logistics side, we really, follow a lot of those macro trends, whether it be population or other trends that I just sort of identified. And for us, what new population means is an increased need for goods and services. So there's obviously been a sea change in terms of the growth of e-commerce and things of that sort. But even beyond that, there is just a need for more infrastructure, if you will, from a warehousing perspective to service this really fast growing population. If you look at the number of, new apartments and new single family homes that have been built over the last, call it 4 years. If you look at the pipeline of new development that we're anticipating over the next 4 years, what I would tell you is that all of those people need stuff, and stuff has to live in a warehouse.
That's tremendous. That's tremendous.
Yeah.
So let me ask you this. East, west, north, south, big box, last mile. What's going on with all that?
Well, look, I think that if I had to sort of take a snapshot of where I think the market stands today, I think there's been a tremendous amount of what I would call big box leasing over the sort of last, 2 to 2.5 years. And we've moved from sort of this just in time concept to just in case. And I think the notion of having safety stock and having the warehousing of goods in the event that there is some other event like a pandemic or similar, God forbid that occurs. But obviously, that's been a huge change in terms of how companies think about how they manage their supply chains. I would say number two, the onshoring of manufacturing is real. And I think that companies are really trying to figure out how they can become less reliant on Asia and other markets in terms of sourcing, not only raw material but finished goods. So I think that will represent a large sea change. But as it really relates to South Florida, we're a consumption market for the most part. Manufacturing is a very small slice of the demand subset. And I think where the need is most, I think the big box leasing will slow. Just because a lot of that, you call it 5 or 7 years of demand, was, morphed into 2 to 2.5 years of leasing activity. I think that'll probably slow and will normalize. But where there really has not been a tremendous amount of supply brought online, and where the demand far outpaces even, the projected supply, is in what I would call hyper infill locations. And they exist in all parts of South Florida. I would say that if you wanted to pick a spot where that is maybe most prolific, it would be in Western Palm Beach County, which has seen tremendous growth, but it has really very little, call it warehousing infrastructure to support the population growth. And there's other certain parts of South Florida as well. If you look at the eastern parts of Broward County, east of 95, whether it's near Port Everglades or and some of the surrounding communities there. And then, Miami overall, given, the size of the port and the number of TEUs that continue to come through the port of Miami, and its solidification as a gateway to Latin America, there's just a tremendous need for more. And it's not just space, Jim. I would call it modern, very efficient, warehousing space, that sort of that next gen that is built to support automation and other trends that are sort of evolving in the industry.
Mark, let's take a break right now. I want to give a shout out to two of my good friends over there, Andy Marin and Tim Peterson. They're tremendous members of your team.
Great
as well.
Guys.
They're tremendous. Hopefully they're listening. High five, guys. Gave you a shout out because I love you. Tim's on the UF Real Estate Board with me, and Andy's a tremendous resource for our whole community. We've known each other for years as well. We're going to come back. We're going to talk about the future of the development industry down here with Mark Levy from BBX. Mr. Mendoza, you got it. Oh, everybody caught me taking a drink out of my Gator glass here. Tim Peterson sits with me on the UF Real Estate Board, which is where I got the Gator cup. And remember, if you're looking to buy or lease a car, you want to get every advantage that you can. That's why you have to check out my good friends at Warren Henry. I want to thank them for being sponsors. We're now in our 11th year being brand ambassadors for Warren Henry. I want to specifically thank Warren. I want to specifically thank Eric. I want to specifically thank Larry. I want to thank Ismet. And I always want to thank Maytal Stark, my personal maintenance person. She makes sure my car is tremendous, and she treats my mom and my wife like solid gold. A lot of people can be intimidated when they go to an auto place for either repair or buying a car. Warren Henry makes you feel like you're great. So when you're looking to buy or lease a car, you want to get every advantage that you can. That's why I have to check out Warren Henry, Land Rover, Range Rover, Infiniti, and Jaguar. And now they've added Lincoln to their lineup at 151st and Biscayne. High five to them for that. I can't wait to go see those new Lincoln cars. The ads on TV make them look tremendous. I'm sure in person it's even better. Of course, in Gainesville, they sell Audis, also great cars. And down in the Keys, well, they sell everything down there, all these great nameplates. Even Jeep. It's wonderful down there. What do all those cars have in common? Well, they're all great cars, and they all come with the Warren Henry Advantage. It's a suite of services that you get. It includes, of course, a service loaner if you got to leave your car, or even if you got to, I guess if you leave your car, sometimes I'll leave it to go back the same day because I had to do business. They treat you like gold. They really meet your needs. I park close because I don't like to get sideswiped, so I always scrape up my rims. I'm a perfectionist, so I want them polished at all times. They help me do that. They help me keep my car looking great. I've lost my keys because sometimes I just can't find them. And those keys are really expensive. Well, they've helped me replace my keys. I'll admit it more than once. In addition, they'll guarantee you're getting the best price on your trade-in. They'll guarantee you're getting your best price on your new car. They'll give you 72 hours to evaluate that car and make sure it meets your needs. Guess what? Everybody's thrilled. They never turn back those cars. You got to join me. Beautiful wife, Vivian. I love that woman so much. My mom, love her too. Lots and lots of my friends. I love them too. I love you all, my friends. We're all members of the Warren Henry family. You should be too. Always the best price. Always the best service. Always Warren Henry.
It's time to stop the hate and spread some love. You are beautiful, you're smart, you are awesome, and you never have to change for anybody. You have the voice and you have the power. We are so much stronger when we come together. It's your choice, so choose to be inspired. Choose to be accepting, be strong, be brave, be awesome, be daring, be kind. Choose kindness.
That's right. Love wins. That's why people call me all the time. They know that I care. That's why I do business with people from all over the world. I've got clients from New Zealand, Australia, Latin America, Canada, all over the US, specifically a lot, of course, down here in Florida. I do business with real estate operating companies, high net worth investors, real estate investors, family offices. I knew I was forgetting something. What do all those people have in common? Well, they all come to me because they've got a lot of gray hair, because I've done a lot of real estate deals and been through multiple cycles. So as the real estate market changes, the opportunities in most respects will be changing. The capital markets will change. They already have. That has changed a lot of the transactions. Many transactions are, we'll just say, reformatting. I'm helping a lot of people do that with loans. I say I'm doing Chicago and Texas. I'm doing CPACE out there with my partner. So the really important thing is that people reach out to me when they have real estate challenges and problems, and I help them execute on their real estate transactions, meeting those challenges and solving the problems. What's the bottom line? Well, the bottom line, as you well know, is that I self-actualize by helping other people achieve their dreams and goals. And that means that whenever you call me, it's always all about you.
Welcome back to Freed on Business. Connect with us on LinkedIn, YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter at Jim Freed or at Freed on Business, and on Instagram at Jim Freed1. Now, back to your host, Jim Freed.
All right, we're back with my good friend, Mark Levy. He's with the president of BBX Industrial Logistics, and he's also involved with the BBX Capital platform. They have multiple silos we talked about in the first part of the show. Where's Mark?
I'm right here.
All right. High five, Mark. Well played, Mr. Mendoza, keeping me in suspense. So, Mark, you came down here, back here. You've developed 8 million square feet of varying product types. Before you left, you went up and worked in DC with Prologis, the big international industrial development firm. And then you moved back to South Florida to start a development company with the folks from BBX. Why did you decide now is a good time to start in the development business?
Well, look, I think that there's been, first of all, I would say that if you're going to go to school, the Prologis University is about the best school you can go to. I mean, Prologis taught me so much about how to execute and operate best-in-class real estate. So that's probably the best experience that I've had in my career, is sort of being a part of that tremendous organization and being a part of the growth. But for me, I think it was, sort of threefold. One is that, as the onset of the pandemic, it was very clear that Florida was going to be a net beneficiary of an acceleration of many trends that were evolving, or expected to evolve over a longer period of time. So I thought that it was opportunistic to sort of take advantage of that as quickly as I could, number one. Number two, as I mentioned before, I married a Miami girl, and she clearly wanted to come back to South Florida. And so we, decided that from a quality of life standpoint and a family standpoint, that's where we essentially wanted to be. But why did I start a development company? I think that, we see a lot of opportunity in the face of sort of potential distress. Now, that distress really never really came to bear until, call it, the last 6 to 8 months, and I'll talk about that in a minute. But I think with that opportunity to start BBX Logistics Properties was to sort of prepare ourselves to build a business for the long term and to take advantage of some of the more near-term market factors that are driving demand and accelerating so many of the trends that affect demand, but also to position ourselves. So I think we all realized that we were living in a little bit of an atypical period during the pandemic, and there would be a point where normalization would come back into being. So we're now in that period, but we all expected that period to occur on some level. So we wanted to be prepared, have a company that we could stand up and be prepared to take advantage of those opportunities. And that's and we're fortunate that we've been able to do just that. So that's sort of that. I hope that sort of answers your question, but that's sort of the overall prevailing logic. And some of it is luck, some of it is experience and having been through various cycles. And I think we, obviously have the benefit of that perspective.
Well, it really leads me into my next question. What are the dynamics that are making real estate underwriting so difficult today? And then we only got a few more minutes left, so I want to lay out my other question for you too. where do you see the opportunities in the marketplace and what's going on here in an overall basis?
Yeah, so look, we have seen, obviously a very dramatic shift in the capital markets. Obviously, the cost of debt has increased significantly over the last, call it 6 months. A similar effect to the cost of equity, and that really is driven by the pricing discovery that we're all sort of going through, try to understand what this new paradigm that we live in, the effect that will have on terminal values, and how that will affect long-term investor outlook relative to real estate. Number two is that we think that we've seen rent growth 15 to 20% on average annually. We think that will begin to taper off and normalize. And look, there's does a recession, whether it's a soft landing or something more than a soft landing, what impact does that have on consumer spending and on sort of corporate outlooks? And so what we're seeing as a result of all of that is that there's a higher level of conservatism across the board from a demand perspective. Jim, we try to look at, when we acquire a site, we like to be somewhere 20 to 40% below sort of the spot value of a similarly located asset. So, we buy sites that may require entitlement, may have some environmental issues, or just may have a level of difficulty associated with them that others may shy away from. So that allows us sometimes to take advantage of that discount, number one. Number two, we underwrite very conservatively. So from a rent growth standpoint, and all the other sort of factors we bake in the cake, we underwrite very conservatively to try to achieve, what we believe to be, sort of better than market returns. But it's been challenging because every month there has been another set of challenges that we've had to deal with, or another set of circumstances that we need to deal with. Construction costs are pretty stubbornly high. We've not seen any tremendous movement there. We're seeing maybe a little bit of break in some areas, but that's still been a real challenge for us. And the availability of land, obviously overall, is tough. And I will tell you that the entitlement environment that we live in today is the toughest it's been in my entire 25-year career. Getting any parcel of land entitled, you are met with objection, whether it's objection that sort of has rationale behind it or not. That's more organized and more deliberate in its approach that makes it very, very tough. So I guess that's the way I'd answer the first part of your question. Maybe ask me the second part again if I didn't address it. Sorry.
Sure. No. You're tremendous, and like you said at the beginning, I'm used to this. So let me roll right into it. How would you assess the overall market as a whole? You've come down here. You've talked about the advantages that you and your team bring to the plan. So what do you see as the overall market conditions? We've only got a few minutes left, so why don't you help me understand that?
Yeah, so I would say that if I had to sort of assess the market, I would say it's still very highly favorable. Demand is very strong. It's outpacing supply. We expect that demand pipeline will be consistent for the next foreseeable future. A lot of that is driven by some of the factors, the macroeconomic factors that I mentioned, but we are very bullish on South Florida. We think South Florida will lead the way nationally in many respects. But I would tell you that the outlook is highly favorable, and we are positioning ourselves. We've got a good number of projects underway, and we're really focused on positioning ourselves to take advantage of the continued sort of growth of not just South Florida, but the overall Florida market as a whole. So thumbs up, I guess, is what I would say, if that's a way to.
Two thumbs up. Come on. We're in South Florida.
Thumbs up.
2 thumbs up.
2 thumbs up. Right. I stand corrected.
That's okay. Well, listen, Mark, I want to thank you. We've been working on getting this done for quite some time. I want to thank you for being patient. Again, Mark's the president of BBX Logistics Properties, BBX Capital Real Estate. And we really appreciate you being on today's show, Mark. Thank you so much for that. And I want to remind everybody we're on. This will be up on the website and all over the place as soon as we can get it processed by Mr. Mendoza, my production savant, Riggs, as I like to call him. And I want to remind everybody we'll be on again with a fresh podcast. We've got 2 more episodes left this year. We're going to have some great stuff for you. And I want to remind everybody that the person that wants to do something finds a way. The other finds an excuse. Now go out there and make it happen. God bless you. God bless America. And thanks to our guest today, Mark Levy from BBX and Sam Grossman from Invendium and Fairchild. Mr. Mendoza, Riggs, the rest is yours. Thanks again, Mark. You're the best.